ComputerToday.com.
So what's the best response to what the client wants when trying to explain something like putting a phone number on a spot where it doesn't work? Okay. Again, this goes back to upper management. I'm going to interpret this as asking not how can I make the account exec agree not to put the phone number in, but rather, how can I explain it? Okay, so we're not talking about a power play here. We're simply saying, how can I explain it? A radio commercial should have a single call to action. The entire commercial should be designed to get the targeted listener to do one thing, and one thing only. Now, how do you know what that one thing is? How do people act on the sales message? How do they make the purchase, so to speak? And that does not necessarily mean giving them money. How do they take the action? If it's a car dealer, the action almost invariably is to go to the dealership. So that is your single call to action, come to the dealership. And you need to give them a reason. You need to do more than simply say come to the dealership. But that probably would be the call to action. On the other hand, if the call to action is to call us for our free information booklet, then you give the phone number. Okay? But in that case, you don't give a website. Right? One call to action. Which call to action? The one that the targeted listener is supposed to follow in order to act on the sales message. And I still haven't answered your question yet, which is how do you convince or how do you educate the salesperson? You can tell them some things. They won't believe you until they test it, and unfortunately, they probably won't test it. But the fact is, see, there's something called face logic. Face logic is a fallacy, and it simply is when something sounds logical on the face of it, but it's not. So it sounds logical that if you give people multiple calls to action, more people will respond, because some people prefer to call, some people prefer to go online, some people prefer to stop in, some people prefer to write a letter, some people prefer to email, and you give them this variety, this choice, and people can respond in their own preferred method. Sounds logical, right? But it's not true. It's not accurate. Choice paralyzes response. Every time you give people a choice, the sales process stops while the person decides, okay, what do I want to do here? Someone once said, delay is the death of the sale. And every time you give people a choice, you are delaying that sales process. Okay, do I want to go online or do I want to call them? Okay, you know what? At that point, some people are going to give up. You don't want to do that. The entire commercial has to be engineered to deliver the listener directly to that one call to action. There are lots of little kind of clever tricks or techniques to demonstrate this for salespeople. I mean, the fact is, no one wants the phone number unless they want to call. So if it's a car dealership, even if you can make people remember the phone number, well, Dan, what if we put it into a catchy jingle? So what? No one calls a car dealer. Okay, I once heard a commercial for a bowling alley, and they gave the phone number. Why are you going to call a bowling alley? What are you going to ask it? Hi, bowling alley, you got balls? What are you going to ask? So one thing you can do with your account executive, and actually this is more effective directly with the client, is to say to them, do you have a bank? You have a checking account at a bank? Yeah. Do you use a dry cleaner? Laundry? Yeah. Do you ever go to the movies? Yeah. Favorite movie theater? Well, yeah. One down the road. What's the phone number of your bank? I don't know. Oh, okay, well, what's the phone number of your dry cleaner or of the movie theater? And the person, especially if it's a client, is going to say, well, I haven't memorized it. First of all, I never need to call them. And if I did, I've got it written down somewhere. Okay. That's real life. Even if you can somehow, with some mnemonic device, make people remember the phone number, there is no point in giving the phone number at all, unless that's how people make the purchase. And you know what? There is this brand new invention where if someone wants to find the phone number of a business, you might want to write this down. It's called the Internet. It's a bunch of tubes that somehow are interconnected. And I hear that some people, when they want to find a phone number of a business, they actually go online. Isn't that amazing? Same for the address. So that's the quick answer as to how to explain to the salesperson why you should not put the phone number in the ad. And you also tell the salesperson, let's take that time. If you give a phone number once, that's 2 to 3 seconds. If you give it 3 times, that's 10 seconds. Let's take that time and use it to sell more. Even if it's only 6 seconds that are being used to give the phone number twice, let's take that 6 seconds and use it to deliver the sales message more powerfully, to drive the targeted listener to that one call to action. And it has to be only one call to action. And this, by the way, is not opinion. This is fact. This was first demonstrated around 1962, and I have not seen a test since then that disputed it. So a famous copywriter did a split test in New York in which they ran ads that had a phone number to call, or you could write in to this address. They had a coupon you could mail in. This was before the days of email and faxes. And this person did a split test. They ran the ad 3 different ways. One was just with the phone number. One was just with the address to mail in the coupon. And the third had both. Okay. I actually don't remember which was number 1 and which was number 2 in terms of response, but I can tell you which was in last place. The one that got the fewest responses was the one that included both calls to action. And that hasn't changed since then. And occasionally I need to convince clients of this. These days, I kind of miss it because these days they tend to take my word for it. But I remember one direct marketing client out of Denver who was very nice, really knew his stuff. But he didn't believe me when I said, no, you don't give a phone number and your website. Here, it was a diet solution that he was selling. You got to give only one. How do you make most of your sales? He said, well, most of our sales are made from our website. They had a very good, high-converting website. I said, that's what you put in your commercial. And he was a very nice guy, very smart, very, very respectful. And in fact, I guess in a way this demonstrates how smart he was. He wanted to see proof, which is good. I mean, direct marketers, they believe in testing. So he tested it. It didn't matter to me. I had already been paid. And he ran the commercials, one with a phone number, one with a website only, one with both. And 6 weeks later, something like that, he sent me an email. Dan, I hate to say it, you were right. The time that we ran the radio commercials and we gave 2 calls to action, we gave him a choice, those pulled far and away the worst. It really is not opinion. This is fact. DanO'Day.com